Good morning and welcome to KidNuz, sponsored today by Bamboo Learning. I'm Kim. Today is Wednesday, June 24th, 2020. And we begin with a history question, not just for the kids listening, but for our KidNuz parents and teachers as well. What state in the U.S. has an official name longer than the one we all use? Rhode Island, which is officially in the books as the state of Rhode Island and Providence plantations. The word plantation is associated with slavery leading up to the Civil War. And now, given the renewed national conversation about race, the last half appears headed for the chopping block. The governor wants it gone and ordered the issue put on the ballot in November. In the meantime, Rhode Island will stop using the full title on all official documents and its website immediately. Teddy Roosevelt's night at the museum is over, but Andrew Jackson's day at the park is, for now, still on. On Monday, protesters in Washington, D.C. tried but failed to pull down his statue in Lafayette Square. At issue, Mr. Jackson's treatment of Native Americans when he was the nation's 7th president in the 1800s. A few hundred miles to the north, the American Museum of Natural History in New York City isn't waiting for trouble. It's already decided to move to mothballs the statue of Teddy Roosevelt on horseback. The monument has guarded the entrance since 1940, but has long been controversial because it shows the 26th president flanked by two men, one black and one indigenous, both on foot and depicted as inferior. Even Roosevelt's great-grandson supports the decision to relocate, saying the statue does not reflect the values of equity and justice. We might be nearing the end of our baseball drought. The league has just ordered a 2020 restart for a 60-game season, with the first pitch thrown on or about July 24th. The directive came down Monday night, and by yesterday afternoon, players had agreed to report to their home stadiums by July 1st. Late last night, both sides cleared the final hurdle by signing off on health protocols, which means baseball will be back, without fans in the stadiums, but back nonetheless. LAX is quite literally reading the room. As of yesterday, it had deployed thermal cameras in 2 strategic places to take the temperature of travelers. For now, it's voluntary, and there are signs letting passengers know where the devices are in case they want to avoid them. Just a few miles away, ongoing coronavirus concerns are also percolating at Disneyland. Workers there are pushing back against the planned July 17th reopening, writing an open letter to Gavin Newsom about their health worries and asking him to delay the restart by weeks or even months. Still, there is medical hope on the horizon. Dr. Anthony Fauci testified yesterday that the most promising vaccine so far will move into phase 3 this summer. Thousands of people will take part in trials, and if it's effective, preventative shots might be available early next year. Everything about 2020 is just a little bit extra, even weather events. Annually, between spring and fall, winds carry dust from the Saharan desert in Africa thousands of miles across the Atlantic to the Caribbean. It's actually how the islands get some of their sand. But this year, the storm is being called a monster, with particles so thick they're choking the skies and prompting residents to wear masks. What's more, the plume isn't done yet. It's reportedly now on its way to the Carolinas, promising fabulous sunsets and possibly a second reason to sport a face covering. But Mother Nature's wrath isn't stopping there. A 7.2 magnitude earthquake rocked Mexico yesterday. The 4th named storm of the season just formed off Canada. Her name is Dolly. And Siberia, which is known for its brutally cold weather, just hit an all-time high of 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit. The man who made Hamilton a rap-inspired must-see for the stage is cleaning it up for Disney. Anyone who's seen the original or heard the soundtrack knows there is one not-so-safe-for-kids word in there that's said 3 different times. Had Lin-Manuel kept all 3, he'd have been slapped with an R rating. So he gave up 2 and kept 1, and is reportedly content with his new PG-13 designation. Hamilton the movie, which was shot from an original stage production, drops on July 3rd, just in time for Independence Day viewing. Before our quiz, a quick update on our top story from yesterday. The FBI now says racer Bubba Wallace was not the victim of a hate crime. The item in his stall at Talladega had been there since last October, and the incident was, quote, all a big misunderstanding. No charges will be filed. And that's it for Kid News this morning. Now, our Kid News quiz. What is the official and soon-to-be-changed name of Rhode Island? The state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. What airport just installed temperature-taking cameras? LAX in Los Angeles. What statue is being moved from outside the Museum of Natural History? Teddy Roosevelt on horseback. What sport just ordered players back to the field? Baseball, with games starting by July 24th. When baseball does restart, we'll have some new records to talk about. But until then, on this day in 1947, Jackie Robinson, who broke the color barrier in baseball, stole home for the first of 19 times in his career. For more on how Jackie changed the sport and society for the better, just say, Alexa, open Bamboo Luminaries. And in one for the road, we know none of our listeners would ever get in trouble. But if you do and you wind up at a police station in Austria, remember, we warned you. A man in Vienna just got hit with a flatulence fine of 500 euros or $560 for ripping a loud one in front of deputies. The department confirmed it and said it was no accident. According to the citation, he rose slightly from the park bench, looked at the cops, and intentionally released massive gas in their vicinity. If he doesn't pay up for the intestinal wind, he could face 5 days in jail. Before we go, we have big birthday shout-outs for Dylan in Evanston, Illinois, Grant in Brentwood, Tennessee, Soren in Houston, Texas, Graham in Baltimore, Maryland, and Sereno listening from Parañaque City in the Philippines. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you back here for more Kid News tomorrow morning.